New this morning, stunning video of Nicolas Maduro in custody at a New York detention center. This just hours after he was captured during U.S. strikes on Venezuela Saturday. He now sits in a federal jail cell in Brooklyn on multiple criminal charges. His court appearance could happen as soon as Monday. Venezuela's government now in the hands of U.S. leaders indefinitely. President Trump says the U.S. military could very well play a role.
Does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, you know, they always say boots on the ground. Oh, so we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night.
Venezuela's Supreme Court says the nation's vice president will assume the presidency, but what her role will be and how she will work with the Trump administration, all of that remains unclear. What is clear is the fate of Venezuela's oil industry. President Trump saying he wants the U.S. to control it with help from American oil companies, all in an effort to make money for Venezuela. Meanwhile, Maduro's capture by the U.S. setting off celebrations, protests, and gatherings in the U.S. and around the world. After dramatic steps to halt commercial flights over Venezuela, the FAA says that it is now over, leaving stranded vacationers in the region scrambling to rebook their flights back home. Right now, this morning, Maduro is being held on numerous indictments. The White House promising he and his wife will face the power of the American justice system. NewsNation's Washington correspondent Kellie Meyer is here with us in New York. Good morning, Kellie. We're so lucky to have you in New York while all of this is unfolding. What's the latest?
I mean, just incredible video coming in yesterday as we were here reporting. I mean, from the press conference with the president and then the video of the plane landing on American soil, then here in New York City. So where he is now this morning, he was taken to the Metropolitan Detention Center. You see that video there of him arriving in New York last night. Then we know he was choppered into the city. He's processed at the federal prison. We don't know where exactly he'll be housed, but FBI sources also told NewsNation that he was in Guantanamo before being flown to New York City. He'll also be at this prison. There are special units for high-profile individuals. He will be among 1,000 or so inmates there. This is a list of who is in that prison or has been in that prison. You have Luigi Mangione still there. Diddy was there. R. Kelly, Michael Cohen, Ghislaine Maxwell, El Chapo. We also heard, and I thought this was interesting, just with the relationship of President Trump and Mamdani, who assumed the role of New York City mayor. He spoke out yesterday really critical of the president's action, and we actually know that he spoke to President Trump. And that would be interesting to hear more around how that phone call went, because they did seem to have a good meeting at the White House, but he is definitely against this move from the president. Take a listen to what the new mayor had to say to reporters just yesterday.
I called the president and spoke with him directly to register my opposition to this act and to make clear that it was an opposition based on being opposed to a pursuit of regime change, to the violation of federal and international law. I registered my opposition, I made it clear, and we left it at that.
All right, we left it at that, he says. So we don't know how long they spoke for. We do know that we are expecting to see him be arraigned tomorrow for Maduro, but a lot of questions still and a lot more to come.
A lot more to come. Looking ahead, what does this mean for Venezuela's government, that country, that region moving forward? What is the president saying?
I mean, there's so many questions. And as you said there off the top, the vice president assumed the role reportedly as president. She still says that Maduro's president. We don't know exactly how it looks with Trump going in there and the team, he says, of Rubio and Hegseth. But you know, will this be U.S. troops trying to do this? How long will they be there? You played there off the top in that clip that he says he's not afraid to put U.S. boots on the ground. But again, we don't know what this will look like. Our Libby Dean asked the president that in her first question yesterday, and here's what he said.
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but that's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. We're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure the people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
So a lot of questions still remain here, Hena.
All right, Kellie Meyer, we'll be checking in with you all morning long. I know we're still keeping an eye on the situation as more people react. Thank you again.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.